Hi everyone, this is Beyond the Veil Media. Thank you for joining. And the title of the video is Why People Get Lost in These Topics. Most people don't get lost just because this material is hidden. They get lost because they don't even know how to think about it. Symbols, spirituality, science, conspiracies, consciousness, it all gets thrown into one pile. And once that happens, everything feels meaningful, everything feels suspicious, and nothing can be tested. So this video is not about revealing secrets. It's about explaining why people consistently lose their footing here. So here's the problem most people never name. That we have lost the ability to distinguish different kinds of truth. So instead of asking how something is true, people only ask whether it resonates or if it feels right. So that collapse produces predictable outcomes. Paranoia masquerading as insight. Skepticism masquerading as intelligence. And then spiritual narcissism masquerading as awakening. This isn't a moral failure, it's a structural failure. The categories disappeared and confusion rushed in to fill the gap. So to think clearly, you have to separate three layers that are constantly being collapsed. I'm going to name them plainly. Number one, symbolic meaning. This includes myths, religion, archetypes, and metaphors. Symbols are not literal facts, but they are not lies. They encode patterns of meaning, how humans, you and I, experience reality, power, fear, transcendence. When symbols are treated as physical claims, superstition begins to form. So when symbols are dismissed entirely, death disappears, right? So both errors come from the same mistake, category confusion. Number two, empirical constraint. Now this is science, history, documentation. This layer asks uncomfortable questions such as, what can be tested? What can be falsified? What resists belief? It doesn't care what you feel, it imposes limits. When this layer is ignored, fantasy fills the gap. When it's treated as the only layer, meaning collapses into mechanism. Again, not a failure of intelligence, a failure of discipline. Number three, speculation. This is hypothesis, exploitation, pattern recognition. Speculation is not knowledge, it's a tool. Used carefully, it expands our understanding, right? Used recklessly, then it becomes paranoia with a narrative. The mistake is not speculating. The mistake is forgetting that you are speculating. So here's what happens when these layers collapse into one. Symbols get treated as secret instructions. Science gets asked to answer metaphysical questions it cannot. Speculation gets treated as suppressed fact. And then something subtle happens. People stop asking, what kind of truth is this? And they start asking, why don't they want us to know this? So that's the pivot where curiosity turns into suspicion and insight turns into identity. At that point, correction feels like attack and question feels like betrayal. So here's the part most people don't even like to hear. If everything feels true to you, you're not seeing more. You're distinguishing less. Death doesn't come from believing more things. It comes from knowing what belongs where. Real clarity requires restraint. And restraint feels like loss before it feels like strength. So this channel exists to slow this process down. Not to tell you what to believe, but to insist that how something is true actually matters. Because the real danger isn't hidden knowledge. It's losing the ability to tell the difference between meaning, evidence, and imagination. Once that distinction collapses, anything can control the story, or anyone, right? Including your own certainty. This is where discernment is so important. It is key here. So, I hope y'all enjoyed this. And thank you for being here and watching. Please like, follow, subscribe, and share with others that you think might want to watch this. And yes, until next time, I hope y'all have a great day. Thank you.